been talking eagerly about the game. He's giving some fundamentals about the teams, and he's rolling his eyes at how many times I have had to restart this stream. It is, of course, Danoffen.
Hello. I think that's the 4th time I've been introduced now. Each introduction was slightly better. So soon it's going to be like a whole rap about me.
I'd like to start the expectations low so I can only build up from there. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what we all do, isn't it? That's how all my relationships began.
You start off by making them pay for the dinner. Then
Yeah.
you, like 2 months in, you pay half-halfsies. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
no. It's like 90-10. You have to, like,
Yeah,
otherwise...
I had a percent every time.
Mm.
100 dinners later, I'll be paying 100% of that dinner.
God damn, I don't know.
No, I always split it. I'm a split boy.
I mean, that is the way. I find myself, or if if we take the cheeky accountancy way of life, you just business expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very naughty; they do that a lot. But let's focus on the game, right? Because people right now are like, what the hell happened? Where was the draft? Like we said, analysis gets sorted elsewhere. We're the casting department. Yeah, Dota is a very big thing now, especially with the recent announcement about delay in DBC. We've organized into a giant big blue chip corporation now. I think.
Wonderful. It's huge. Well, what are you thinking so far? These lanes looking very interesting.
Yeah. So the thing we were talking about before we actually got on the stream is the comparison of these two. You said you liked Vikings draft a little bit more, and
I do.
I can see why, right? Like when you look at it very plainly, it's like they have a lot of sustain. They've got a faceless void. You never go against the RNG tappy bashy man. Okay, he'll kill everyone late game, and that's actually like the big bait, right? It's like you look at go hyper late game power because they have an IO Phoenix and a void. But when you look at Team Unique's draft, it's all about early aggression. And then they've given themselves a backup plan in the Medusa. And if I compare these two sides for early aggression, I do favor Unique's ability to make kills happen.
But you have as well got a mid Batrider, which is not exactly a late game mid. There's going to be a lot of... I think that Batrider is going to be able to mitigate a lot of that early aggression quite effectively with the IO and also the clockwork.
Sure, and the matchup we're seeing here can actually go either way. This has kind of been seen as a 50-50 in recent times between the Bat and the Void Spirit. What usually happens is Void Spirit takes an early point to dissimulate, and that kind of offsets all of Batrider's aggression. But
it's a bit of a wash, isn't it? They're both going to get their stuff out of this lane.
And the difference here is like who can more easily rotate at 6, who can make kills happen at 6, and usually that goes to Void Spirit. Like VS is a really weird hero. Like he gets 6, and Astral Step instantly gives you kill potential, and then between like level 8 and 12, you feel like you can never reach targets unless someone else feeds them.
Yeah. What's interesting about both these drafts is that neither of them have a direct stun.
This is true.
The best stun in the game is what? Chronosphere? That's the only reliable stun.
Look, I'd say Vanscore's life is pretty simple in this game. He presses Q, he lets go of the keyboard, and he has auto attack on when he arrives.
Yes, that's true. We have a lot of kind of pseudo stuns, but there's not going to be a lot of like clicking here.
No, it's like this is going to be the skill comparison. Who is the better skill shot? Is it a Clockwork or a Mirana? I think that's an unfair comparison for the Mirana, but we'll find out. Actually,
it is all about the skill shots.
Like this is the rough part, right? Like they're forced to go onto the void. A nice arrow should allow BZ to walk away. No, don't fight, bad boy. He's actually going in for it. It might actually work out.
It has worked out.
Just about. It seems they ran out of clicking power in there. I think the overcharge ran out just in time. So actually well anticipated by BZZ.
I think that's a good one. Did he get hit by the arrow? I was looking somewhere else.
Yes, he got hit by the arrow when he time walked forward. And that was kind of the ghost sign, right? Is because once Shad does that, he has no reset. The time walk's gone. He has started with aggressive start on his build as well, because he did go for the Uv on the Faceless Void, so he believes that he can just right-click the Bloodseeker out of there.
I think he's... Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to right-click everyone out the lane. They're trying to right-click out the Mirana. They're going to right-click out this Bloodseeker as much as possible.
And
I don't think they're here to passively farm.
No, and I always like this really annoying hero to try and like deal with in lane. I usually say if you want to kind of easily win the game for your player in lane, when you're in pub games where it's less organized, I was top pick. Although later on in the game you'll lose because it's like a type of hero that requires coordination.
It requires an ability to talk, I think.
It does. I think like what I've sold you on is IO brain dead hero in lane, very difficult hero later. Take your picking.
Yeah. You need to increase your IQ by about 60 points midway through the game. Pause, take some online courses.
Whoa. I mean, that's the only ones we're going to get right now. It's also a weird one, right? Because you think of this hero, and I say it like that, and I think for a while now, a lot of people have been kind of harping on this notion of if you win lane, you win game. And something that's really apparent in the EU pro scene right now is that's not the case anymore. Like, you'll see a lot of times people kind of sacrifice the early game and bounce back very easily. It's a bit hard to compare to the best team, but like Team Secret is kind of the go-to comparison, right? That's what we're looking at. Look at Team Secret and how often they kind of sack a lane or two, and they'll bounce back because they understand their power spikes better.
Yeah, but Team Secret, they'll lose if they sack all their lanes. I think Team Secret are quite good at understanding the lane they need to win and putting the pressure on that single lane. I don't think it's
something many teams can do. Like many teams,
No.
if they lose 2 lanes, they think they've lost the game.
But Team Secret are very good at understanding if they can win a single lane and use the pressure from that lane kind of elsewhere. Whereas I think a lot of teams struggle to then apply that pressure effectively.
Yes.
Which Team Secret are excellent at.
And it's the give and take, right? Like something that I love that Team Secret has made us all aware of that we really weren't before is this concept of position, like farm priority fluidity, right? Is you look at hero and you go, I am the boss 3 or I am the boss 1. Instead, what they do is they look and they go, okay, what does this hero do in the next 10 minutes with a gold influx at this stage of the game? Ooh, celery.
Well, Team Secret are entirely built around fluidity, I think.
Yes.
That's why they've picked up the players they have, which is why you look at a team like Viking GG. I think Viking GG are a really good team, but as I was saying earlier about their kind of slight rigidity in the way that they play like a tier 2 team, and that they don't have the ability to flexibly change their style of play to adapt to a game's circumstances, which Team Secret can always do. And I think Team Unique are a little bit like that. They're able to because they've got such high individual skill, they're able to quite flexibly change mid-game to adapt to circumstances. Whereas Viking GG kind of need to win lanes, or they need to have a good mid-game push strat to ride through.
I think Viking GG, the way they play is there's a lot of focus on what the offlane is going to do, right? And if that fails, the fallback is genuinely straight to Shad. That's not to say Boom doesn't have his moments, but one thing that usually works for them is I feel like there's less pressure on him to be definitive. He can have his good games, he can have his bad games. That's why they give him a bat in this game, right? It's like the Bat Rider is there to kind of slow the pace and get through to this later stage, this later timing where they've got the Phoenix egg and they've got the Chrono and they've got this Io, and that should be able to beat Medusa.
Well, it's a lot of team fights, a lot of cooldowns.
It is. That's always the backside, right? Like, oh man, you're playing with a team, like your lineup has big cooldowns. What are you doing in between that? And one thing they do have is they have 2 gank and spankers. They've got the Lasso, which gets lower cooldown, and Hookshot, especially like Clockwork. I mean, there's a reason this hero is getting picked so much. This hero kind of got buffed and buffed to a ridiculous point now. Like 60 seconds on a Hookshot going down to 30 at level 3.
Shad's struggling up here.
Chase in, bring him down, and Celery, he wishes he had some friends. I like this rotation out of Unique, though. And they might be able to
very
convert
good
to
rotation.
All right, he actually
I
might go
think
for
Boom's
kill
going to
himself.
get something here.
Oh, he needs to be careful because he's coming out pretty far. Bloodright's going to go down and it won't quite trigger onto him, but they will be able to right-click him down.
That is not good news for Viking.
No, this is going to be very early timing on the loss of the tier 1. And something that is a bit weak about the offlane of Viking is, what do you think they're missing in this bot lane? Is it someone who hits towers? I think it's it looks like someone who hits towers.
They are somewhat missing that. Do you call them Viking or Viking?
Viking. Because
Yeah,
if you
I
want to
call
be
them
a Viking, you've got to be a G, you know?
Is that true? were the Vikings the original?
How could you disprove it? Like, are there any Vikings alive for you to ask?
There aren't. No, that's true. I suppose they're the G's of the... I've been playing a lot of Crusader Kings 3 recently. I don't know if you've been playing that. The Vikings are very, very irritating group of people.
They're kind of irritating in every game. Like Total War was that way as well. Games do a really good job of representing how much of a pain in the ass they are, as you know, big tier 1 teams have discovered about Viking GG.
What an incredible bit of linkage there by yourself.
Oh, thank you, sir. Stop it. My head's going to get too big to fit through the door at this rate.
Well, I'm always here to pump you up.
That's what it's about, you know. Usually me like Pycat will just drag each other down. Liz just drags me down by looking better than me. But we're here. We're a team. We elevate each other. Just like these guys elevate tier 2 Dota. You know, you were saying earlier about how like you run out of questions to ask these players. Do you think like another concern is like you want to interview these tier 3 or these tier 2, these upcoming players, and you worry about like how many people are going to be interested? Because I do feel like we as a community are very elitist compared to like other communities. We don't really usually cheer for a true underdog.
I think people like an underdog. I think, but there's a certain amount of glory hunters, I think, in the Dota scene who tend to support the big teams.
Oh, like the people that support Man United all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Man United fan, so I
True,
don't know if I can entirely talk.
I am too.
I got that vibe from you. I think I have a little core group of fans who always tune in for the tier 2 Dota, and they really appreciate it. I think the people who like teams like Viking GG, like Unique, like NIP, who are sort of tier 2, really, really like them.
I'm liking Illusion's performance in this game right now, by the way. 305.
Killing it.
This is the CIS rebirth of Sing Sing. Shoot arrow, hit arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to a point, right? You're looking, you're going, I mean, who's really the offlaner now? Like, Bloodseeker's got more gold, but I feel like I'm seeing more out of this Mirana. BZZ, I'm going to see a death out of him. Arrow into 1, but Bloodseeker's definitely gone.
Well, they're both collecting a lot around this mid. The top lane has been entirely abandoned, as is the bottom lane. No one is interested in top.
I think this is what happens whenever CIS Dota meets Viking. Like, Viking is that type of team that, like, you said it earlier, right? They like to win their lanes. They like to just kind of snowball. But whenever you're up against CIS Dota, you're up against a region that is kind of infamous for matching that, no matter the team. No matter the draft, actually. I still remember when I first started casting, I was watching CIS drafts that had, like, Medusas and Lifestealers. That was back in, like, the farming Midas days, trying to fight 24/7.
Well, you know, heroes are just big creeps, ultimately.
Yeah, you know, any hero can click, so why not get clicking? As they do on the Celery. He's just got... His tower's going to go down soon as well, and the rock's going to
get out of control.
I mean, this just looks sad. Look at him right now. He's like, I guess I'll just farm. And if you guys hang around, once this Rupture runs out, I'll get you. But in the meantime, Shad just raked down Illusion. I think he got the bash in the final hit. Now Bloodseeker, next on the hit list. A little bit cocky from Unique to hang around so long.
A little bit, but I reckon they figured the Chrono wasn't up. They just forgot about the Viking have other cooldowns.
Yeah, they have other heroes. And not only do
It's
they
not just
click
a Chrono.
relatively hard, they kind of don't care, I want to say. Like, you saw the way that they ruptured, right? There was no need for Boom to run away, no concern. And he knows that Unique can't commit onto him because he's recently tanky with his raindrop and level 8. And then you have a Phoenix plus an IO. How do you... Like, if the heals are focused in, this is going to be the kind of key concern for Unique as the game goes on. If the heals are focused in, how are you picking off, like, the Faceless Void in the late game? And I think one big part that I want to see is someone on the side of Team Unique building a Spirit Vessel. Meanwhile, Medusa...
Someone building it for the Void.
No, someone building it on the side of Unique. To
Yes,
deal,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, to deal with, like, all the heals in general. Not just the Void, but, like, the sustain comparison, right? Like,
There is a lot of sustain here.
It's really annoying.
But
This
who's
has
going
always
to
been
build
the
a
issue.
Spirit Vessel here?
It should
Probably
be
Mirana.
Vanskull, but he's in the 5 role. And I like that you mentioned Mirana because it's not a bad item. But you notice how we see Spirit Vessels less and less these days? Like, it almost feels like we finally nerfed it enough. Heroes like Mirana, while they can build it, don't feel as comfortable. And he's already started with a crown, so I'm getting a weird feeling he might go towards either drums.
Vanscore has queued up early Ags.
Okay, so
Which
we've all played 5 before. We've all done this.
It's important to have dreams, I think.
Exactly. You believe, like, you'll get it next game, maybe. BZZ, gone in the meantime. See, if he could get this kill, he'd be very close to his hags, but there's no way in hell that's ever happened.
Well, if he could get this kill, it'd be close to the healing salve that he's got queued up.
All right, looks like he might get that healing salve. Oh. This is what we call counteracting abilities. They still get him, but you can feel that moment where Illusion's like, that was the perfect throw. Why did you have the RNG now?
Wonderful. I love watching a team with a Spirit Breaker. It's such a...
It's just like, it's such a relentless it simplifies hero. Dota, right? It's like, I'm going to go again. I'm going to go again. And like the thing that's always made this hero obnoxious for a long time is Bulldoze. Because you don't pay for this like greedy charge, right?
What I like about it is that often when you're watching teams kind of rotate around the map, you're not entirely sure what they're necessarily doing. Are they going to go for this hero? Are they going to go for that hero? With a Spirit Breaker, you get like a 20-second pre-warning of their plans. It's like they make up a little sign for the casters and the viewers. Like, this is what we're going to do next. We're going to attack this hero.
It's really good in your your pub experiences or in pro games because like it's very clear what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, right? So it's especially effective in like we already mentioned the sophistication of an IO pick and how in pub games it's not going to work out that often. Spirit Breaker is the other end of the spectrum. You see a hero, you click the hero, and then you tell your team you're going. Usually, personally, I like to moo loudly into the microphone so they know.
Do you? You're one of those people.
You got to roleplay it a little bit, you know. It's all good doing the voices, but every once in a while, you just want to be a cow. Rotation not too bad on the BZZ. I feel like we're starting to see the presence of this Bloodseeker patter off a little.
A little bit. He's going for a Yules. He's got a... Is that Veil of Discord and Bloodseeker? Is that a new?
That's kind of been the go at the moment because it just like synergizes with what you want to do so well. And I think like Veil to me is a decent item for any offlane that can get away with it. Because you use the base item as well. And if you're not like having to rush for a blink or a pipe or something, it kind of slots in. It's not as strong as it was, as it did get tweaked and nerfed a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's kind of always been like the odd man's drums, I think.
I guess it works well with the Void Spirit as well. There's a lot of magic damage there.
Yes, there's the Void Spirit, like the Starstorm does a lot of damage as well. And also, you know, you keep in mind your Blood Rage to amp that up further. You say Snake as if the Medusa's going to do anything but farm for the next 10 minutes.
No, she's got a kill.
She has. This is true. She also has a death, which means in the eyes of all carries out there that pick Medusa, she's disappointed us.
She does, yeah.
That's how it works. Especially when you got Midas, you know? It's that Midas efficiency law again.
Oh, you know, you just choose when you're going to die. You die when the Midas is heavily on cooldown, and then you come back alive when it's... That's the ultimate efficiency.
It's at the moment, like you're running away, you see a creep, you Midas it, and you just turn around and run towards the enemy, just charging in like Boromir in the Lord of the Rings movies. I'll make space for the rest of the hobbits. This is not.
That's what Boromir was doing, making space.
He was ashamed.
I suppose
of himself.
He was.
Yeah, he was ashamed of himself as well. I don't think the Medusa is going to be ashamed of himself if he hits up that Midas. That's the difference. So basically, what I just said is the carries are Boromirs without a conscience.
Yeah.
But you know, there's an upside to that. It does mean that you're still Sean Bean.
Yeah, he's a handsome man.
Great voice.
Got a great voice.
You get a different perspective if you ever watched that that TV series where he's playing as a transvestite.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't think I've seen this.
Yeah, Sean Bean in high heels.
Does he die in it?
I don't think he did. I never saw the end.
You never saw the end.
But I'm used to seeing movies where he doesn't die because I've watched the Sharp series.
Yes, of course.
Oh, gone already. And that means the sustain's maybe not strong, but the last year's there on the illusion. 19 teen trying to scare them away. He says, look into my eyes, look deep into them because I want to turn you into stone. Oh, Lauren off. A little bit off the mark for him. He's been pretty good so far. That Remnant, I mean, I don't want to say it was the easiest one, but if I feel like
it does move them a little bit.
It does. The thing that you kind of bait yourself with when you're using A for Remnant is you have to remember it has to travel. It's kind of a fixed speed.
It's like a little conveyor belt.
It is. Have you ever like played Void Spirit and had like a telescope on your team, it really throws you off because you've got a
Oh,
max
God.
range larger than you should, right? Oh, BCC.
Yeah.
Trying to bring him down. He gets pushed out. Clockwork now taking a lot of damage here, but BCC will die.
Viking, they're behind, but they're rotating really well together, I think.
Like, they know they're going to be
dealing
behind
with a
because it's the Medusa, right? And, like, look at the heroes on the side of you. Like, look at the net worth and distribution. Is if you compare these heroes, while Bat can farm, he's looking to fight all the time. So who else is going to farm on the side of Viking? Whereas on Unique, you've got a Medusa, you've got a Bloodseeker, and you've got a Voice Spirit. These are all good heroes at shoving out lanes quickly.
Going for the... He's got Midas and then it Diffusal, the Void, Midas, then Diffusal, Manta. So they are looking to fight.
Yeah, it's such good value in this game as well. Like, not just against
It's
the Medusa,
hugely good
most of these heroes. Chad, jump in, and he throws out the Chrono. The X is going to go down as well. Fanscore in mid-animation, trying to complete his ultimate will, but the damage is not enough to kill off Io. They'll chase forward looking for more. Aramis not able to find up the hook shot as you're trying to capture a Void Spirit, and that never ends well.
Shad went on a little adventure during that Chronosphere. He got bored of hitting him and then went on a little walk.
Yeah, he kind of... I think he reached a point where he's like, wait, where's the other Void? I need to get rid of the Imposter. And he's like, oh, he assimilated an Astral Step, didn't he? It's what makes this hero so frustrating. It's so easy to dodge almost, if not everything that Viking has. Meanwhile, BZZ is continuing to fail to dodge any of it as he takes it all to the face once more.
BZZ is having a rough old game.
And now Illusions join him as well. They did find Lauren off. He's out of charge. He's got one Astral Step, and he needs to get out quickly. Shad pushed across. He's going to chase forward because he sees Vanscore charging in like a madman. Aramis not low enough to die, and Celery does well with the bloody blocks to ensure the kill.
Oh, they're doing well. I'm pleased. Yeah. I'm proud.
Like, the understanding the lineup at this point is tempo, 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 right? The Medusa still doesn't really want to fight. She just wants to be touching creeps in painful ways that somehow manipulate and turn them into gold. Not really sure how transmutation works in the Dota world. But...
Do you think there were alchemists who studied for ages, turning creeps into lead initially, turn them into brass?
You may be onto something. Like, it's kind of magical, like Harry Potter, right? You know when you see like the Green Got Bank or whatever, but it's just like, imagine just little alchemists everywhere, and it's just like they've got giant conveyor belt lines. As the creeps come in, they just kind of scan them, convert them into gold, and then ferry it back to the players.
If you had a little glove that could turn little animals into any substance, what substance would you like to change little animals into?
I would, you know what? I'd change them into monster energy.
Oh, wow. God, you're such a professional.
Or I'm just an addict. I mean, it's one or two possibilities on the extreme either way. That's cool. Interesting buyback.
That is an interesting one. They want to...
They just want to test the button works.
Well, he's just using it to stop the mid push, I guess.
Possibly. I don't think there's too much threat of them stopping there. Like, they're rotating. If he dies now, easy.
He is going to die as well.
Yes.
That's 60 seconds he's down.
I don't know. Like, you know, those moments where, like, it's in a professional game, and you wonder if he just, like, it was a tilt buyback, and then he just kind of went into do what I want mode. Remnant does catch on the Void while he used the Chrono. Mirana might still go down, but gets the leap away in time. Arrow will ensure their retreat. Boom is hunting, but the TP out will be successful by Illusion. Everyone else gets out. Chrono for a dieback kill in a different location. You take that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't use the Chrono for the kill.
No, but that's the thing. It's all, we consider it part of the... Because if you're Vanscore right now, you're going, I done that. You wouldn't have came top and Chrono like that if I wasn't dead.
He got too cocky. By killing me, he got cocky.
There you
and
go.
Therefore, I made him use Chrono.
See, I do that all the time when I play Timbersaw, right? I'm like up against that strength hero, and I'll very tactically and intentionally feed 4 times so that they're worth more gold and XP to me when I finally kill them.
Yeah. Sort of works. I mean, aside from if you think about that for more than 4 seconds.
If you don't look at the mathematics and just strictly look at the morale, we're Gucci. Temp on the life
I think this is a kill.
Yeah, it should be. Arrow. Oh, he doesn't get the man to dodge. hits perfectly. The heals are good, though, and the Io's keeping him up. And there's that
Wow.
stun ray. And there you go. That's the sustain of Viking. And all of a sudden, these Vikings turn from defenders to attackers as they chase down forward onto Van Score. He's going to try and create the space to get 19T out. But the stone gates will have to be popped to escape. They shouldn't be able to find him, or will they? The IO is reloading in. They've thrown down the remnant prematurely. They will catch on to Shad straight away. But with the time dilation and no mana left, 19T is not long for this world.
They are such a well-drilled team, Viking. They really know what they're doing. The team they remind me of, and this doesn't go back too far, is the Liquid/Alliance team of last season, when they kind of started off a little bit like Viking are at this point, I think, where they were a little kind of loose and they weren't always sure what they're doing. And then I think through really good coaching and just kind of hard work, they've turned into a team like Alliance did last season that always know what to do in every situation and respond so well to pressure because they can.
Fight going on.
Because they can. Yeah, you go ahead.
Sorry, that's just it looks like they're about to maybe lose 3 heroes here as they're trying to interrupt.
Yes, it was a fight, and I was just bambling.
That's the spirit. That's our roles at the end of the day. It looks like it's quit, but I was going to originally go on to your point because it's fair what you said. I think the comparison that can be made, like there was a big argument around the rise and demise of Alliance/Liquid, and how when they've been looking good, it's dependent on the meta and the patch and it's suiting their playstyle. And Viking, I think there's maybe an argument to that. Like if we return to maybe more of a like kind of farm and chill type meta, as opposed to this very aggressive 4 heroes a lot of the time, maybe they don't look as hot, but they're definitely looking like they're on top of their game right now.
Yeah. I think the difference between Viking and Liquid is Liquid came to Dota with more experience, whereas Viking, I mean, Solari's been playing the game for 7 years, which is not very long for a captain. And they're just kind of growing and growing and growing. And they're also really committed. Like, they have their coach, Immortal Faith, who's a good coach, and he's a good player and a nice guy. But they all really, really believe in him, and they're all really willing to listen to his advice and take direction from the coach, which I think certain teams of kind of younger players are not always willing to do.
No, it's a humbling thing that I think a lot of people can lack. And it's not just like a call out of, you should respect more, and you're bad for not respecting coach who hasn't won TI for his advice. It's more like it comes into that winner mindset again, right? Like you have to believe you're the best, and if you're taking someone else's advice, like some players feel like they're contradicting themselves. But the reality is, like, the best players in the world are the ones that have lost the most. And there's gonna be more heroes lost here. Lauren able to dodge out. Should be able to move away.
It's important to believe in yourself, but also important to believe that you can be better than you currently are, and that you're not going to get better than you currently are by yourself.
Exactly. If you look at the best players, they don't mock people's ideas. They don't like degrade other people. Like they might do their smack talk, but that's part of the thing, right? It's not personal. Whereas you'll see these players that kind of their ego gets too big, right? It's a quote a great movie. Their bodies start writing checks their ego can't cash. And
what movie is that from?
It's Top Gun.
Ah, yes, of course.
Classic. Chrono, hello. Faces forward. Oh my god, he's got the whole sleep going on. Trying to move away. The Aegis already going to be gone. Nice arrow. Did get rid of that, but now can they get rid of him the second time? Hook shot in to break up the fight. Straight on top of the Medusa with the defusal. Should be able to burn through her quickly, and the silence won't really bother me. Time walks forward to get in front of her and ensure she can't move away, and Fan Score will also go down. Viking just making this look as clean cut as a rump roast right now.
This is a timing push if I ever did see one.
Where's the
bonus? He's diving.
Skill? Yeah, he's got the diffusal. That's why. BZZ, he cockily hung around. He thought there was a play here. But if he gets bashed once, he's dead. Luckily for him, RNG is on his side.
Is hanging around by your tier 3 tower cocky?
He stopped. Cocky, in this situation, Cocky is not running as hard and as fast as you can.
Yes, that's true.
You know what it probably was, actually? Is the moment where he realized how fast he was, he's like, maybe I can make something happen here. Laurenov, however, the only thing he's making happen is KDA getting worse. As he finally gets his first death of the game.
Got killed by the...
Meanwhile, they knocked Viking's ball around without permission, okay? It's not your ball to play with, and therefore BZZ must die. That bash.
They were behind 4K at 20 minutes. I've gone 15k up in the past 7 minutes.
Wish I could do that with my MMR.
I
Oop.
wish I could. Lockdown has been a bad time for my MMR, let me tell you that.
Yeah, it's all these other people who are clearly the problem, coming and playing the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're playing it like Team Unique, while I'm clearly playing it like Viking.
Ah. You're coordinating very well with yourself.
I tell you, sometimes it's difficult. You know, yeah. You ever had the hardship as a POS 4 of building a Midas and having to decide between saving your POS 1 using that Midas?
Yes, yeah, I have. Okay, well, the creep's slightly nearer and he's over there.
Exactly. And I was on a Doom as well. I had to go Devour and Midas. These are the hardships that people don't understand that I have to go through in my games playing POS 4.
Yeah. Playing POS 4 Doom.
Oh, lasso. Oh, see, you know, playing POS 4 Doom would allow me to not worry about missing a hook shot. RMS did miss it, but don't worry. Boom was there to clean it up.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You've got a Faceless Void and a Phoenix that is richer than a Medusa, by the way. I probably should highlight that because
Really?
unless you're
Jesus.
building a Midas on the Phoenix, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, he's got a Meteor Hammer, he's got a Sange, he's got an Iron Branch. He's rolling in it.
I actually love the fact that he has the Paladin Sword because I do believe that works in terms of healing your teammates as well.
Does it?
Because it amplifies...
so.
Actually...
Amplifies healing and
so it
regeneration.
should, yeah, so it should amplify the healing you're doing, right? I'd have to test that
Well,
one
it
on
must
lobby.
do if he's got it.
I mean, he should know better, right?
I don't think he's doing it for the right clicks.
I mean, in fairness, he has a lot of regen because you've got the Sange as well. Like, you can already see when Tranks are on, he's got 44. Even with the Moth, he's at 25.9 HP regen a second.
You'd expect it to go to the Void, but even so, I mean, I guess Aquila's pretty good, and he does need the mana regen.
Yeah, I think this is like a conscious choice where they know that it would be very good on the Faceless Void, but because they have the sustain of the Io and the Phoenix, it's like, is this overkill at this stage? A little bit, because I don't really feel like our Faceless Void should be dying before everyone else in the team. Plus, he's probably just waiting out for a bit. There we go. He's actually switching up. He's going for the Orb Destruction.
Ah, that is an excellent item. That's probably my favourite of the tier 3.
Favorite? I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a POS 1 player, but I have to respect Paladin Sword is probably the best POS, like, best of the 3 items. The tier 3 rubber. Maybe Spider Legs, but I think that's selective. Not every hero, like every lineup looks good. Spider Legs is really good in this game.
Spider Legs do look good. What I don't like about Spider Legs is that they override your boots, and then I feel sad for my boots.
Yeah, but that's
Like
you know,
what-
sometimes you have to realize that you're getting more out of a different relationship, and thus you must stop leading them on and sell your boots and move on to the new relationship.
Yeah, but then what if I need? I don't know. What if
I
something
think you're
better
getting
comes along?
attached to your old boots.
I am. It's hard to not though, isn't it?
You
We've been
have the
so
memories, right? Like that. Oh, those
Yeah.
boots, they got me first blood. They saved me from feeding in the lane.
But you only think about the good times, don't you?
Exactly. You don't think about the
It's
bad
never
times.
the bad times with the boots.
No. Like when you looked and you went, if I had an Uve instead of those boots, we would have got that kill on the bot lane.
Exactly. I mean, that's the only real bad time that you can have with boots. I don't know if there's many.
Or when you buy 2 by accident, don't refund
Yes,
them.
that's true.
That's pretty bad time. Oh,
Well,
nice. I just found out we're switching to the main channel after this one. Might not be
Oh.
much longer because, I mean, Viking are looking to end this soon. Like, you can actually see how deep they're going. They're baiting out because they've got Celery waiting with the relocate. Boom, BKB, reload
Bring
in,
him in.
and Spaghettio. Illusion has made a mistake. Will leap away, though. Has to use all the charges, so now he has to be extremely defensive for 35. Looks like they'll get away with it. I'm kind of surprised that Boom didn't instantly just, like, go deep for Elasu there.
I think they seem pretty relaxed though. I mean, they did dive earlier, but I think with a Void, I mean, the Medusa's obviously really, really good late game. It's a Medusa, but they're confident, I think, in this Void.
Yeah, and they're confident in the hook shots. They find Illusion after he's used all his leaps. This should open up the push onto the tier 2. And this is kind of the beauty of the way that they can, like, posture, right? Like, that whole dive is all about fishing for info. and not like it's very difficult even this far ahead to feel confident about diving like that to fish for the information. But they just want to know if the Medusa was there. That's all it's about. If Medusa's there, then they hard commit everything. But if not, then you just kind of very challantly walk down these heroes like they're doing to BZZ right now.
Poor BZZ. He's having a rough old time.
I think this is
6,
the
10,
nature
and
of
7.
it. Like this hero doesn't function well from behind. I mean, it's kind of hinted to by his name, right? He's seeking blood, and if he's not getting the enemies, it's going to be his own.
Yeah. He's a blood seeker, not a blood transfuser.
Not a blood pacifist. That's kind of how he's felt in this game. It's almost like he's running around going, make love, not war. And Viking are like, no, war sounds pretty good to us. It's profitable. Shad feeling a little bit of a tickling, but so hard to bring down. Last two, they find the big target on the Medusa, dragging around right now, but she should be able to get the Stone Gaze. Disarm straight away with the Stone Gaze. BKB, Shadow turn away. But now Medusa, she doesn't know where to run. This isn't her base. They try to turn around, but they turn around too early, and she is able to TP out.
Feels bad though, BKB TP. Oh, it wasn't a BKB, sorry. I thought it was.
It was the Stone Gaze. It was the BKB on the Void,
Stone
though. He had to. He knew he had to try for it. And now Phoenix going to be jumped because he did use the egg. But look at the heals coming out. Hook shot in onto the illusion. No leaps left on this Mirana. Shad trying to chase in. Needs to be careful. The disarm comes out onto the Medusa. And all of a sudden, she feels pretty worthless.
They're holding this chrono, though.
They're going to go in. There's the chrono looking for. Straight away onto BCC. He's always eliminated first. The overcharge is in place as Io is stuck in the chrono with his comrade. But not for long is the Medusa going to be in this wall. She gets brought down. BCC killed off as well. Fanscore running for the high heels as the GG gets called in the wrong language. They fix it. They throw it through. And they say on to game 2.
Wow, what a turnaround. That was a really good display from Viking.
It was very calm.
I think they can be proud of that.
Like, there was no rush, right? It didn't feel like they were ever overextending. Even that dive we saw towards the end, past the tier 2, like, all of it feels tactical. You can see that clearly about it.
I think, yeah, a lot of teams would have crumbled because it did feel like there was a lot of pressure being hit towards them. Like, the Unique were getting very far ahead. They were making moves with the Spirit Breaker. They had a Medusa that was farming happily. They were hitting every single arrow, and I think a lot of teams might have crumbled kind of under that pressure. But Viking made the correct rotations. They coalesced around the right heroes, and they've turned it into a pretty sharpish 34-minute victory, which is, considering how far behind they were at 10 minutes, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think like the big highlight is how much they prioritized BZZ as a target in this game, right? Because if you looked at Unique's lineup and you went, who can we kill? Funnily enough, the Bloodseeker is always top of that list. Like, Medusa's maybe too tanky in the early phases. And then you've got the Mirana who can always move away. You've got a Voice Spirit that can always move away. And a Spirit Breaker that, quite frankly, isn't worth the effort, right? Like, we saw time and time again, Vanscore wanted you to attack him. He would literally charge in Bulldoze next to a Bat Rider, and he'd do a little circle like, you wanna maybe just lap that little lasso around me and drag? No? Okay. And that's kind of the potency of that hero, but that's also the downside in a lot of ways, is if you can play around that and choose your engagement instead of like being forced, then Team Unique have nothing. Because it's not just the blood, like it's not just the Spirit Breaker that needs you to be scared of him or run away or like panic react. It's the Bloodseeker as well. And we saw so often that the ruptures would come out and Viking wouldn't move. They're like, what now? What's your follow-up here? You gonna try and throw an arrow blindly, or because if you do that, we still have Io, we still have Phoenix, we still have Sustain,
and they've got so much kind of area control with the bat and the fire, and then eventually the chrono and the clockwork cog, so they can kind of control the area around the ruptured hero, and they just did that really effectively. Whenever they were gone on, they just made sure that the area they're being gone on was safe and fortified, as it were.
Yeah, and I think like the thing that will be highlighted in this game is not just, in my opinion, Viking playing a little bit better than Team Unique did, but also when you look at these two drafts, which one has a better fallback, an easier fallback plan, right? Which one is easier to execute? It feels like if you look at Unique and this game goes on, like, okay, so they need to rupture one target, remove them. They need to blood right to force a reaction. They need to like hit their arrows after a remnant. The charges need to like connect onto 3 or 4 heroes and break the back line. You always need to charge the Phoenix to stop the heal raise. Like, I'm listing a lot of things, right? And it sounds like you could select any of them to make them work, but then What if I just said Viking just have to lasso a target or hookshot a target or chrono and egg them?
It's like the end game of whack-a-mole. Like when whack-a-mole gets extreme whack-a-mole. There's too many moles to whack.
And then Celery is just over there still playing level 1. He's like, boop, boop. but he's getting the same score as you for hitting 10 a second. He's like, "Rrr."
He's got a gigantic hammer. He can whack all the moles at once.
Well, we'll see if he can whack this big unique mole and make it a 2-0 because that's only game 1. These are best of 2s, and I know that whole statement sounds conflicting and confusing because there's no such thing as a best of 2, but there is. And they are here. And soon we'll be in the second game of this one between Team Unique and Viking.